The Toyota Tacoma has been one of the best-selling mid-size trucks in North America for decades, and now that the current generation has settled into the market, attention is already shifting towards something bigger, the 2027 Toyota Tacoma. This is not going to be a flashy, dramatic story about a truck losing its soul or reinventing itself overnight. It is going to be a clear, honest breakdown of what is actually happening with this truck, because there is a lot of noise online right now, some of it accurate, some of it exaggerated well beyond what the facts actually support. Before we go any further, I want to be upfront about something important. Toyota has not officially unveiled the 2027 Tacoma. Everything we are about to walk through comes from industry reports, supplier leaks, camouflaged prototype sightings, and patterns based on Toyota's recent product decisions, not a confirmed press release. So instead of dramatizing every detail like it is already locked in stone, we are going to separate what seems highly likely from what is still genuinely uncertain, so you actually understand this truck instead of just getting excited about it. Welcome to Smart Reviews, where we break down cars in a simple, clear, and honest way so you know exactly what to expect. If you like straightforward and informative car content, make sure you're subscribed, because the 2027 Tacoma is shaping up to be one of the more interesting mid-size truck stories of the next few years. Let's start with the confirmation question, because this matters more than people realize. Is the 2027 Toyota Tacoma an all-new truck, or is it something else entirely? Based on everything reported so far, it looks like Toyota is not planning a full redesign this time around. Instead, the current generation platform appears to be getting refined rather than replaced, with improvements focused on reliability, technology, comfort, and efficiency rather than a ground-up reinvention. That is actually a meaningful distinction, because a mid-cycle refinement behaves very differently than a brand new generation, both in terms of what changes and how much risk is involved for Toyota. None of these details carry Toyota's official confirmation yet, so think of everything in this video as informed reporting rather than a locked spec sheet. And we will flag anything that feels more speculative as we go. Let's talk about how this truck is expected to look, because there is a real styling story here. Leaked prototype sightings suggest a noticeable front-end refresh, with a wider grille, redesigned LED headlights, and a more aggressive bumper design that pulls some visual inspiration from the larger Tundra. Toyota appears to be moving toward a cleaner but tougher overall look while keeping the Tacoma's compact, purposeful proportions intact, rather than letting the truck grow in size the way some competitors have. Higher trims are expected to get unique grille treatments, darker exterior accents, and a wider range of wheel choices, while the TRD Pro and Trailhunter trims should remain the most aggressive-looking variants in the lineup, featuring upgraded skid plates, additional recovery points, and revised suspension tuning that hints at their off-road focus before you even open the door. A handful of new exterior colors, including some premium metallic finishes aimed specifically at the off-road-oriented trims, are also expected to join the lineup. None of this is a dramatic reinvention, and that is actually the point. Toyota seems to be sharpening what already works rather than throwing it out and starting over. Now here's where things get genuinely interesting, because the interior appears to be receiving some of the most significant attention out of any part of this update. Even though the current Tacoma already introduced a noticeably modern cabin compared to older generations, plenty of owners have pointed out that there is still room for improvement, and Toyota seems to have been listening. Expected upgrades include softer dashboard materials, improved seat cushioning, larger center console storage, better wireless charging performance, faster USB-C charging ports, and enhanced ambient lighting, along with more premium leather options on higher trims for buyers who want that extra level of comfort. Rear seat comfort in double cab models is also expected to improve, which matters a lot for families and work crews who actually spend real time in the back seat during longer trips, rather than just occasionally tossing gear back there. On the technology side, leaks point toward an updated digital instrument cluster, a faster infotainment processor, a larger touchscreen on premium trims, improved wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration, expanded cloud-based navigation, more customizable driver display options, and better voice recognition that actually understands natural speech instead of requiring rigid commands. Toyota may also expand over-the-air software update capability to more vehicle systems, which would let owners receive performance improvements and new features without needing a dealership visit at all, something that has quietly become a major differentiator in the industry over the past few years. Let's get into power, because this is honestly where the biggest debate around this truck is happening right now, and it deserves a clear, level-headed explanation rather than dramatic framing. The current Tacoma already moved away from a naturally aspirated V6 in favor of a turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine, and that engine is expected to remain the foundation of the 2027 lineup. What seems to be expanding is availability of the I-Force Max hybrid variant, which pairs that turbocharged engine with an electric motor to deliver noticeably more torque, reportedly around 326 horsepower in its current form, which is actually more than the standard non-hybrid engine produces. Rather than chasing bigger horsepower numbers purely for bragging rights, most reporting suggests Toyota's real focus for 2027 is on improving low-speed throttle response, fuel economy, towing efficiency, battery cooling, and hybrid software calibration, essentially making the truck feel smoother and more usable in everyday driving rather than just faster on paper. If you're someone who misses the old V6, specifically for its sound and simplicity, it is worth understanding that this shift is not really about losing power. It is about Toyota prioritizing real-world drivability and efficiency over old-school engine character, and reasonable people can disagree about whether that trade-off is worth it. Off-road capability has always been central to the Tacoma's identity, and leaked engineering updates suggest Toyota has no intention of slowing down here. Expected improvements include revised suspension tuning aimed at improving comfort without sacrificing capability, better shock calibration for rough terrain, upgraded multi-terrain select modes, updated crawl control software, enhanced locking rear differential programming, improved hill descent control, and even revised steering calibration for better trail feedback. The TRD Pro trim is expected to receive another evolution of its premium suspension package, likely continuing to use Fox internal bypass shocks along with a front skid plate and noticeably more suspension travel, letting buyers drive it straight from the dealer lot onto a trail without touching a single aftermarket part. The Trailhunter trim, meanwhile, is expected to continue offering a genuinely factory-built overlanding package, complete with ARB air lockers front and rear, Old Man Emu suspension, and a full underbody skid plate system, essentially giving serious overlanders a turnkey option straight from Toyota. Towing and payload capability round out the practical side of this update. While the Tacoma has traditionally been thought of more as an adventure truck than a hauler, plenty of owners genuinely use it for towing boats, campers, and utility trailers, and Toyota appears to be addressing that use case with improved cooling systems and revised transmission programming, rather than a dramatic engine overhaul. Expected improvements include better trailer stability control, updated trailer brake integration, enhanced towing camera views, improved hitch guidance, and smarter transmission shift logic specifically tuned for towing situations. None of these changes sound flashy individually, but together they could make a real difference for owners who regularly tow anything heavier than a light utility trailer. Safety technology is also expected to see meaningful updates. The next version of Toyota Safety Sense is rumored to include more accurate adaptive cruise control, improved lane centering, better pedestrian detection, enhanced cyclist recognition, expanded intersection collision avoidance, improved blind spot monitoring, and smarter rear cross-traffic alerts. Several leaks also point to improved camera resolution for the available 360-degree monitoring system, which would make off-road navigation and tight parking maneuvers noticeably easier to judge, especially for anyone using the truck in dense urban environments during the week and rugged trails on the weekend. Reliability remains one of the biggest reasons buyers choose the Tacoma over its competitors in the first place, and Toyota seems well aware of that reputation. Rather than introducing an entirely new engine lineup or chasing dramatic power increases the way some rivals do every few years, Toyota appears focused on refining the components that are already working well. Reported reliability improvements include updated engine calibration, improved cooling systems, stronger electrical connectors, revised software management, better hybrid battery management, and enhanced transmission programming. Individually, These changes might sound minor, but together they can meaningfully improve the ownership experience over hundreds of thousands of miles. Which is exactly the kind of long-term thinking that has built Toyota's reputation in the first place. So how does the 2027 Tacoma compare against its direct competitors? The midsize truck segment has become genuinely competitive in recent years. The Ford Ranger continues to lean into turbocharged performance and a more aggressive driving character. The Chevrolet Colorado offers impressive power figures and strong capability numbers on paper. The GMC Canyon pushes further into premium territory with a more upscale interior focus. And the Nissan Frontier remains a simpler, naturally aspirated alternative for buyers who want a more traditional truck experience without added complexity. Toyota appears to be taking a noticeably different approach from most of these rivals. Instead of chasing the highest horsepower numbers on a spec sheet, the leaked 2027 Tacoma seems focused on balanced performance, dependable engineering, expanding hybrid efficiency, modern technology, and long-term ownership value, a strategy that has consistently served Toyota well and helped keep the Tacoma among the segment's best-selling trucks year after year. What matters more to you personally? Chasing the biggest horsepower number on the spec sheet, or getting a truck that is going to run reliably for the next 15 years with minimal surprises? Now let's talk resale value, because this is genuinely one of the Tacoma's strongest advantages, and it deserves real attention rather than a passing mention. The Tacoma has consistently sat at or near the top of resale value rankings in its segment for years, and there is no strong reason to expect the 2027 version to break that pattern. A 3 or 4-year-old Tacoma routinely commands used prices that surprise people who are used to typical truck depreciation curves. And that flatter depreciation curve genuinely changes the math on total ownership cost over time, not just the sticker price on day one. If you eventually decide to trade in or sell privately, you are simply not taking the same financial hit that you would with several competitors in this class, and that is exactly the kind of long-term value that builds a reputation across generations of buyers rather than a single sales cycle. Now, a word of honest caution. Because building trust matters more to us than simply hyping up every detail. There is a real ongoing debate among truck buyers about the shift away from larger, simpler engines toward smaller turbocharged and hybrid powertrains, and that debate is not going away anytime soon. Some longtime Tacoma owners genuinely miss the character of the old naturally aspirated engines, and no amount of torque or fuel economy improvement fully replaces that for people who value mechanical simplicity above all else. There is also the practical reality that hybrid components add cost and long-term complexity compared to a traditional engine, even with Toyota's strong hybrid reliability track record. And since none of these updates are officially confirmed yet, there is always a chance that final pricing, trim availability, or specific feature sets shift somewhat between now and an actual launch. These are not reasons to dismiss the 2027 Tacoma, but they are worth keeping in mind rather than assuming every leaked detail will make it to production exactly as reported. So what is our honest, balanced take on all of this? The 2027 Toyota Tacoma looks like a thoughtful evolution rather than a dramatic reinvention, and based on everything reported so far, that seems like exactly the right call for this truck. The expected improvements to interior quality, technology, hybrid efficiency, off-road capability, and towing features all build directly on strengths the Tacoma already has, rather than chasing trends just to keep up with competitors. Toyota is not relying on flashy gimmicks or radical new styling to win buyers over here. It appears to be building on proven strengths, quality, capability, efficiency, and reliability, while quietly addressing the smaller criticisms owners have raised about the current generation. If these leaks turn out to be accurate, the 2027 Tacoma could end up being one of the most well-rounded midsize pickups available, and given Toyota's track record, that outcome feels genuinely realistic rather than overly optimistic. So here's a question worth thinking about. Does a thoughtful refinement like this excite you more than a dramatic full redesign would? Or would you rather see Toyota take a bigger swing with the next Tacoma generation? Let us know what you think down in the comments, because we're genuinely curious where this audience lands on that question. Subscribe to Smart Reviews if you want clear, honest, and simple car breakdowns without the confusion, and we will keep bringing you updates on the Tacoma as more official information becomes available from Toyota directly. Thanks for watching Smart Reviews. See you in the next video.